Now I understand why it was so looked down upon to be living with your parents back in the day. All you had to do was get a job. Just a job. Here I am, college degree, multiple avenues of income, side hustles. What the fuck am I doing here?
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
Can someone tell me what a normal amount of money for a 23-year-old in their savings account should?
Well, I'm 33 and my bank makes me keep $5 in the account to keep it open. So the answer is $5, Alex. What is $5? Not in this economy. We're not saving no money in this economy. Not when groceries are what they are. Interest rates are what they are. They're lucky I still got that account open with the $5 in it.
I love how the ATM asks you, do you want a receipt? Because hell no. But thanks for asking. No, you can keep that receipt. We saving paper. I got a clue of what that motherfucker look like. I remember one time I made a mistake and hit, yes, I want a receipt. That bitch was like, you sure? This ain't like you. You sure you want a receipt? I was like, oh, appreciate it, big dog. Hell no, I don't want a receipt. I want to see this shit. I want to see the truth. I'm honestly surprised I had enough money to get out what I got out. I don't want to see what's left. And then when you make your withdrawal, they be like, you want to see your statement? Absolutely not. I don't want to see it on the screen. I don't want it on the receipt. I don't want it in the email. I don't want it over here. I don't want it over there. I don't want it on the couch. I don't want it on the chair. Listen, there should be a feature that when I log into my bank account, I tell it what I'm trying to get, and they tell me if I got enough money for it or not. Like I'm going out to eat and I'm about to pay for dinner, and I log in. Like, what you getting? What's this purchase for? And I'm like, steak and lobster. Yeah, you good? Okay. I don't need to see the number. I don't want to see the number. Just tell me I'm good. That's fine. Back in the day, they didn't even ask you, did you want a receipt or to see the statement? They used to just give you a receipt and show you the statement. But now they like, nah, listen, do you really want to slip in this depression like this? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Keep all that ink. We have to be delusional nowadays about what we have, what we're making, and how much we owe. We have to be delusional about that nowadays to keep us fucking sane. I hate when I'm calling to make a payment on a bill. First thing they say as soon as they get on the phone, hello, yes, you're calling about the Ford Fusion. It looks here like you owe. I don't care what I owe. Shut the fuck up. I didn't ask you the number on what I owe. I'm calling about what I'm going to give you. Those are two different numbers. Those are two different numbers, sweetheart. Huh? What I owe is not what we're on this phone about. You're here to hear me say what I'm willing to give. I didn't ask for the number on what the number is that I owe. In my mind, I'm only behind one payment. Let's keep it like that. Or come get your motherfucking car. I was chilling with one of my homeboys, and this is how I know he got money. Because I'm like, bro, what the hell is you doing? He like, nothing, just checking my statements. I'm like, ooh, it's the confidence for me. It's the bravery for me. You could just check your statement like that and I have a heart attack? Fucking superhero.
The thing is, if rent was $200 a month when you became an adult, I don't really want to hear anything from you about my generation being lazy or not wanting to work. Because that $500 mortgage you had 30 years ago is now $2,500. For the same two-bedroom house, nothing changed. Like, y'all's groceries were $50 a month for all the groceries in the whole entire store. It costs $10 to keep your tank of gas full for the month. Your car payment was $50, if that. You know what I mean? So unless you guys want to go ahead and transfer that wealth over now, I'm going to need you to zip your lips and shut that up. Yeah, because in my mind, it just seems like we have to do 5 times the amount of stuff just for what y'all got off the bat. Immediately, y'all got that. Like, y'all could work at McDonald's and have a 5-bedroom house and be okay. That is not happening today. So let us do what we do and mind your business. Yeah.
I just finished grocery shopping at my local Kroger, and every time I go grocery shopping, I'm more and more convinced that eventually I am going to have to go back to my 20-something-year-old shopping list that consisted of hamburger helper, ramen noodles, pasta with no meat, all those real healthy things, in order to make budget. But then I realize my 50-year-old body can't handle that kind of food anymore. It's not going to work.
I find it rather ironic that the generations that say that millennials and Gen Z are just too lazy and that if we worked a minimum wage job for 40 hours a week, we would be able to survive and thrive and achieve accomplishments as adults similar to that they did. Whereas they had a home price of about $40,000 in 1975, and we have an average home price of about $495,000 nationally. And groceries for one person for 1 month in 1975 cost about $80 to $90 for that 1 month worth of groceries, whereas today it costs about $490 to $500 for one person for 1 month worth of groceries, and that the college average for in-state tuition for 1 year in 1975 was about $5K a year, whereas today it costs about $14 to $15K a year for one person in-state tuition. Okay, and you may think, oh, the minimum wage has gone up to $7.25 and it was $2.10 when I was your age in 1975. Well, if you do the math, that's an increase about 350%, but the inflation has gone up over 500%. $1 in 1975 equates to $5.75 in today's economy. So the inflation is over 200% different from the minimum wage increase. So generation what? Boomers and older? Before you think, oh, Gen Z and millennials, they're just too lazy. They don't want to work. You're wrong. So think before you speak. Look up the information before you speak, okay? Because we do know how to adult, okay? The best to our ability. And you think, oh, it's so easy. No, that was over 50 years ago, boo. Okay, it's not the same. And you want us to have kids? You want us to have kids and get married in this economy, in this political climate, in this actual climate? We're all gonna burn. We're gonna be broke, okay? So think about it, all right? This is not 1975. Remember that. Okay, you made this happen. You ruined the world, okay? It's your fault and your politicians, okay? And the politicians that are in today's world now are the ones that think that it's still 1975, okay? Because we should not have 80-year-olds running for president, all right? The world has changed. Racism was still a thing. Oh, wait, it still is because your politicians are in power, okay? Segregation was still legal when President Biden and when President Trump were our age. So remember that, okay? Thank you so much. Think before you speak. We are trying our best. Thanks.
I have a question for all my millennials. Do you guys remember when we were in high school and you were a junior going into a senior and they put so much emphasis on going to college? Without going to college, you won't be able to buy a house, you won't be able to make money, you won't be able to be successful, you won't be able to survive in America. Remember that? That was also followed by the predatory FAFSA application that was based off your parents' income, which made no sense, about a loan that we were going to get to pay for school. And they gave all of us at 17 and 18 years old $40,000 to $50,000. We went to school, you graduated, the job market sucked because we went through a credit crunch, couldn't get jobs. And the jobs that we did end up getting, we didn't utilize the degrees we paid so much money for. Now it's 10 years later, we've been paying back the loans, and that same loan that was $75,000 is still $75,000 because you paid $22,000 in interest over the last 10 years. In addition to paying that interest, some of you, like myself, went to get a master's degree because you really wanted to get ahead of the curve and you really wanted to come out swinging, making six figures and buy a house and live the dream. And then also those degrees don't matter. So now you're paying two types of loans, undergrad and grad school. And that interest is compounding. I recently made a comment on the video talking about the plight of the millennial in terms of schooling, education, housing, the American dream, all that shit. And some boomer or Gen Xer was like, you millennials think that you guys had it so hard. Did we not? In addition to all these things, we've been on the verge of death every 4 or 5 years. We've lived through 2 recessions. We've lived through an epidemic. We've lived through a pandemic. We've lived through meteors almost hitting us every year. We lived through 4 or 5 wars. Being a millennial, I wouldn't say it's the toughest thing ever, but my God, is it fucking fuck. So when I hear people say that Gen Zs and millennials don't want to work hard, it's not that we don't want to work hard. We did all the things that we were told we had to do to be successful and make it out. But now we're in a heap ton of debt that is crippling us from actually being successful adults while inflation is tripling everything, but salaries aren't going up. Now you're here. It's 2024. The same house that you wanted to buy 5 years ago, but you couldn't because you didn't have an adequate job, is now triple in price. The house that you grew up with your parents, if your parents sold it, they couldn't buy it today, meaning you couldn't buy it today. We're giving $50-60 billion a year to Ukraine and Israel, but we can't afford to forgive student loans, which were predatory by the government and by private lenders, because they told us that we needed to do that in order to be successful adults in a country that is limiting us from being successful adults.
Good morning, good evening, people. Something's going around now. It was a hot shot that the great Whoopi Goldberg said about most of us millennials. I'm 35. I think I fit into that category. And it's the same thing that a lot of older people are saying, is that we're lazy. You know how messed up that is to say that we are lazy while we're trying to bust our tails to achieve the same goals that a lot of these super upper class people are talking about. Like right now, I work 2 jobs. Those 2 jobs that I'm working, I have to work some days 13 hours a day, where I wake up in the morning, I see my kids off to the bus, and then by the time I get home from work, my kids are in the bed, going to bed. So there are 4 days out of the week where I don't even see my kids. There's 4 days out of the week, and especially the way my wife and I's work schedule is, where we don't even really spend as much time with each other as we should, because we're working towards a goal that requires, for the most part, upwards of 3 to 4 incomes to get. Because now the age-old number, the median starting salary for any job that anybody is looking for has to be $100,000. But in order to get that $100,000, you have to have skills that they got rid of while we were in school. When I went to school, there were no wood shops or automotive classes or welding or plumbing or anything. You had to go to a career center in order to have those skills coming out of high school. And if you went to school in the inner city, they didn't really push career center the way they pushed it at other schools. You dig what I'm saying? And now there's this big shift on switching careers, right? Everybody's talking about switching careers. Get into tech, get into this, get into that. But then they want you to take these classes, and these classes cost upwards of $4 or $5 to thousands of dollars in order to get certified for a job that, even when you're applying for this job at entry level, they still say they want you to have at least 1 to 2 years of experience to get this job. And let's not even talk about the people who went to college. You got people who went to college who are now sitting in debt of hundreds of thousands of dollars to get the jobs, because we were told that if you go to college and get the job, you would be fine. Only to find out that that degree that you have doesn't even work for you. How are we lazy if we are busting our tails? I looked online right now where I live at in the greater Columbus area. I saw a house that 20 years ago was listed on the market for about $145,000, $150,000. That house now is listed on the market for upwards of $500,000. We talk about the age-old situation. There's that run-of-the-mill joke from the Home Alone movies about how Kevin McAllister's dad lived in a house that today would cost at least $1 million. How was he able to afford that house on the salary that he was living on back in the 90s? Or we talk about how if your dad or your mom was a grocery store general manager, that was enough money to provide a mortgage, because you could get a house at the maximum $100,000. You get a 4-bedroom house for $100,000 back in the 90s. The $150,000 house is gone. The minimum for a 3-bedroom house, at least in the greater Columbus area, starts at about $275,000. And then on top of that, to deal with the fact of what just came out when it comes to Wells Fargo, even when people, especially people who look like me, we build the credit, we make the money, we do everything that we're supposed to do to get what it is that we're trying to achieve, which is the quote-unquote American dream, you still have the banks who will deny you when you meet all of the qualifications in order to get what it is that you're looking for. Banks will still deny you. So what do we do? What do we do? I've made a conscious decision that I try to tell people, I'm not dying for a job. I will not bust my tail to have a job that if I die tomorrow, they're going to replace me. I'm not busting my tail for a job where I come in every single day and give y'all 100%, and then at the end of the year when it's time for my review and my raise, you only give me 3 to 4% back. That's a bad investment. It's not being lazy. We're being smarter. Even the fact that there was a story that came out, I think last year, there was a guy who made like $100,000 on DoorDash. You know how hard it is to make that kind of money doing DoorDash? You know how tough it is to make that kind of money doing DoorDash? $100,000 in DoorDash. There are so many, we've got people who are working 2 jobs and have side hustles just to make a living, just to keep their heads above water. Not everybody in this lifetime are going to be millionaires. Some of us actually have to work, and it is difficult to do so when you got to worry about inflation, where the rich people keep making stuff more expensive for the regular people to get. The fact that I just this year got a letter from the utility company saying that our utility bill is going to be higher. I'm still making the same money, but my utility bill is going to be higher. We're not lazy. We're tired. We're tired, we're overworked, and we're underpaid. That's just the truth. Say what you want. Do something about it, rich folks, especially the rich black people. Give us the opportunities that we're looking for. There's a lot of black people out here who will work their butts off, given the right opportunity. So, that's it. That's the post. Y'all have an amazing day. Peace out.
He said, we are not lazy, we are tired. And that is so true. Most people work very hard to earn a living. Most people are making the right choices in life. It's just inflation. It's just corporate greed. Increased prices every single year. And yet the pay is not increasing. So at a certain point, you will struggle. If the pay is staying the same, it's a struggle. Most people are living like this. Can't afford life. It's not because they're lazy. People work hard. 2, 3 jobs. Can't make it. You just cannot. Most people that I even know personally work very hard. They work 60-hour weeks easily. Still can't make ends meet. It is not you. It is the economy. It is the way that things are just set up in this system.
I just saw some advice from a realtor that was like, don't wait for the market to be right. Buy when you're ready. When you're ready. And see, I don't think you understand. My readiness fully depends on the market crashing. I'm going to need a whole 2008 kind of situation over here before I am able to buy a home. My budget is giving van to fix up, maybe a small piece of undeveloped land. Okay, I cannot buy a house until we have a full situation. Okay, this isn't couponing. I'm not trying to save a few dollars with the Target Circle app. Okay, what I don't understand.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
I just love how we seemingly look like we got it all together as a collective. We have the good job on paper, the nice apartments, and a decent car, but we're all literally just one flat tire away from not eating for the rest of the week.
Why when I become an adult, everything gotta be expensive as fuck? Bread, $5, chips, $5, gas, $5, rent, $5,000. Like, I just can't do it.
The cost of groceries alone is about to make me get up out of here. At this point, it is cheaper to eat out every day than it is to go to the store, buy groceries, and cook. Because when you go to the store, you spend $100 at the store only to just have snacks. Why are eggs $5? Granola bars, $10 a box. $10 a box? I'm tired.
We are quite literally living in a crisis. So I was talking to my grandpa the other day, and we were talking about inflation. He was telling me how much eggs cost and da-da-da. And I was like, yeah, that's what everybody's been talking about. But when was the last time you went to Wendy's? And he said he hadn't been in a while. And I was like, why did a junior bacon cheeseburger go from like $1 something to like $4? $4? There is no absolute way that my meal at Wendy's should even get to the double-digit number. I'm not understanding anymore.
I don't know about everyone else, but anytime I go to the grocery store now, I just get so stressed out. Like, if I have to go, I am stressed immediately. It's like, time to spend $20 on paper towels. Like, why are paper towels $20? Why is toilet paper, like, $25? Like, what is happening here? The other day, I was just like, you know what? It's honestly, I don't even know. I feel like it's cheaper sometimes to eat out because to buy all the ingredients for a meal, yes, it will last me 2 days, is equivalent almost to buying a meal and like an appetizer or something that would also last me like 2 meals, right? So it's like, what's the cat, like, I don't even know what to do anymore. And then like cat food, why is cat food like 20 something dollars? Like, everything is just so expensive. And like the other day I went to the store and I got 3 bags of food and I spent like $200 for 3 bags of food. And the guy just was like, you didn't seem like you got much for it to be that expensive. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because if you have to get food but you also have to get like paper towels, toilet paper, like anything that's like remotely like coffee, sugar, or like something like olive oil, deodorant, like, good luck. You're gonna spend all your money on it. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Like, what the fuck? I can't even live. It's like I can't live. It's like I go outside and I breathe and that's $20.
Why is it costing just as much to stay home and cook a meal for you and your family as it would to go out and eat and sit down somewhere or grab fast food? There used to be a time where it was cheaper and more cost effective and made more sense to stay home and cook. And eating out was a privilege. Baby, it's the same now. Like, what's the difference? Like, I'm spending the same. You ain't got to worry about me.
I went to buy chips last night, and a regular, average, no funny business bag was $6. I'm just curious here. What's the tipping point? Food has gotten so prohibitively expensive that even when you are careful and you budget and you look for sales, everything still costs at least 20 to 30% more than it used to. Between that and the rising cost of gas and rent and bills and basic essential needs and the fact that wages aren't rising to meet this inflation, which is not even getting started on supply chain shortages, when does this all collapse? Like, when does it break? When does the dam break? I've just been thinking a lot this week about how women in the Great Depression would paint back seams on their legs to look like they were wearing stockings because no one could afford pantyhose. I'm curious what our generation's equivalent of that is going to be. The deal at my grocery store this week is 2 bags of regular potato chips for $10. 10! Would love for these times to stop being unprecedented.
You want to know why millennials are so pissed off? It's because we were lied to. You told us if we put our head down, we did what was expected of us, we were yes men, we would be rewarded by our companies. And to be fair, I do work for a good company. I'm not trying to bash them. But we just had our end of the fiscal year town hall meeting in which I found out I got a 4% raise, and I should be happy because some people might not get any raise at all depending on their situation. Except I also got a notice today that my rent is increasing by 12%. Do you see how that doesn't add up well? 4% increase over a 12% increase, and that is just one bill. That is just rent. That is not food, gas, anything else.
I wish this conversation of when you having kids would stop. Our parents' generation, when they had kids, even though they probably couldn't afford them either, it was way more doable because they're in a household with their grandparents and their great-grandparents where they didn't mind taking care of kids while you went to work or went to school or whatever. Millennials, we're not having babies like that. Gen Z and babies like that. Gen Alpha is definitely not having babies like that. I mean, again, the motherfucking kids are expensive as fuck. And the economy and inflation and the way the job system is not giving us the ability to afford these kids. And y'all forgot the whole way to marriage shit. Y'all just fucking wrong having babies left and right. And then getting mad that the bitch don't want to be around you with the damn child because y'all being irresponsible. So, no, the kid conversation needs to stop. If I want to have kids, I will have them when I'm ready. And the conversation of, oh, you'll never be ready. Bitch, okay, well, can I at least make sure I can afford them a little bit first? Instead of figure out on the go, that's not safe anymore. That's not safe anymore. No, when you're ready to have them kids. Don't let nobody force you to have them fucking kids. Because that shit is ghetto. And that's on period.
So I really need y'all to help me figure out some math because it's not mathing for me. The 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 right now. You see people on social media all the time that will tell you, oh, stop buying things like Starbucks and expensive cars and having a cell phone and a laptop and you'll be able to afford a home. Okay, but where I'm still lost, because y'all haven't explained this part, right? How does not buying Starbucks make the $500,000 home not $500,000? How does not having an expensive car make that $2,700 one bedroom back to like $900, $800? Like, how does that work? That's the question I have, because y'all keep saying to sacrifice, but sacrificing is not changing the prices, man. Like, the prices are still the same.
She's not very smart, is she? The whole idea is to save and invest your money. That is the whole point. So if you spend your income on this and that and that and that, it's like then you are wasting your hard-earned money. The key is to save and to invest. That is how you get ahead. But in order to do so, you should not be spending a lot on those things. And if you do, you will set yourself up for failure. That is it. If you are young, you have to make the right choices. And if you do not, every single year, things increase in price. If that is the case, and you know that to be the case, and you spend, those things add up. And the more you spend, the less money you have to save and invest. That is the whole point. Save money, live better. Walmart.
I'm really not understanding, after weeks of working more than 40 hours, door dashing within every moment of my means, gas being $5, me already driving a 99 and still owing money on that 99 because I had to take out a loan for it, and somehow trying to start college, and somehow trying to get a promotion, and not even being able to pay my bills, and not even being able to pay my rent. I just don't know how long I can do this. And I don't know how long I can not be homeless. And it's starting to freak me out. I don't know, like, what my next step is when every step isn't helping. Like, I make more than most people around me. Like, I make the $15 an hour that everyone is begging for. I already make $15 an hour. I make more than that, and it's not enough. And I work full-time, and I am doing other things on the side, and I have worked 2 jobs minimum since I was like 15, and I don't know how I've sustained it this long, and I don't know how I haven't died. But I am like $600 behind in bills right now, and I'm supposed to have top surgery in like 2 months, and I just can't afford any of it. And I don't know what to do anymore, because I don't know how to live if I can't afford it. Like, I can't do any of this. And I'm just starting to kind of lose my shit about it a little bit, because like, I can't even afford food anymore. And like, food bank, sure, how long is that going to help me until I don't have a house? How long is that going to help me until I don't have means to cook that food or open that food or prepare that food? You know, how long can I afford gas to drive to the food bank before I'm just walking there to bring it back to my car? How long before I'm just one of these people in these these houseless camps that are all over my town right now? Like, I feel like it's just any second all of this is going to be taken from me, because I can't afford it anymore. I couldn't afford it in the first place. I've been working my whole life to try to afford it, and I'm 22 now. I've been working for 7 years, and I still can't afford it. Fuck.
Okay, this video is for anyone in their 20s or like early 30s, okay? I'm 39. This is not advice. This is the opposite of advice, so stick with me. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, and the secret is this: nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody knows what they're doing. So whatever older adult in your life, whether it's like your boss or your parents or whatever, any older adult in your life who is making you feel like less than in any way, like, why don't you know this? Why don't you own a home? Why don't you have a Roth IRA? What do you mean you don't know how to do your taxes? Any older adult who is making you feel like you don't have your shit together, or that you're like behind and should be like further along in life or whatever, they tell them I said scram. I said scram, and tell them that I said they are liar, liar, pants on fire, because nobody, yay, nobody has their shit together. We are all just winging it, okay? And my qualifications for telling you this are as follows. I am married. I have 2 kids. I own a home. I own a car. I have a Roth IRA. I have like 529s for my kids. All of that. I worked as like a marketing executive for 15 years. All of that would lead you to believe how I present to the world is like, oh wow, she's really got her shit together. She knows what's up. She's like a fully formed adult. And the secret is this: I have no idea. I have no idea. If TurboTax didn't exist, it would be Jesus take the wheel. I don't know how to do my taxes, okay? When I bought my car, I was pregnant and having my like toddler with me on my second pregnancy. I brought my dad to help me because I felt like Ariel signing away my voice to Ursula when I was reading all the paperwork. Like, we don't know what we're doing. I don't know what a Roth IRA is, okay? I'm sure many folk do. I don't. I don't know what a 529 is, okay? I don't. My parents were like, you need to set this up for your kids. And I was like, oh, okay, sounds good. And you learn as you go. That's the thing. You learn as you go, and you are not behind. You're not behind. And this is coming from someone who met their spouse in their 30s. Both of my kids were geriatric pregnancies. My career is like halted, and I'm starting a new one, and I'm literally turning 40 this summer. And I'm like doing career phase number 2, okay? Like, you are fine. And I get so, as you can tell, I get so heated. This dynamic with older adults making younger adults feel like they're either like not where they should be in life, or like, how do you not know this or whatever? And the answer is this: first of all, nobody knows. And second of all, like, our school teaches us how to play recorder and how to square dance, okay? Our schools do not teach us taxes and interest rates and like how to buy a home and like all these things. We don't learn that. We learn that as we go, okay? So you are doing fine. And if you have any adult in your life that is making you feel like you don't know this, that, the other, or you should be here or there, or already have this set up or already have that set up, send them my way and I will tell them to scram for you.
In this life, nobody has it all figured out. We all go day by day, and that's really it. So stop allowing other people to just make you feel smaller. We all don't have the answers, and that is okay. One day at a time, guys.
So I just had a thought. We'll categorize this as millennial anxiety. So we're all upset. Inflation's a thing. Everything's more expensive. Everything has always been more expensive continuously year after year since my life, being born in 1995. What I'm wondering is, we just complain about inflation and having a solution, but like, even if there's a solution that eliminates certain things that cause inflation, theoretically, which will probably never happen, but if it did, my question is, what businesses that have adjusted their prices for inflation would realistically, in any world, lower those prices after they've already seen people will pay X price because of inflation? Like, why would they ever make less money? It just makes it feel even more grim than finding a solution, because it's not really a solution. Nobody's going to change their prices and lower their prices. Like, that's not a thing. Anyway, I'm thinking about this because my boba tea that I treat myself to once per payday was shockingly like 65 cents less than it has been every other time. Is this reverse inflation? These are just the things I think about in my car. The ways my anxiety runs wild. Thanks for listening.
Alright, so if y'all seen that video from Advice from Louis talking about why Gen Z feels like their life is over in their 20s, then you know what I'm talking about when I say that hearing people talk about that stuff is insane. And I understand why they say that, and I understand their thought process, but let me get there first. Number one, from that video, the three biggest, and just from this topic in general, the three biggest arguments that I hear is that one, we don't work hard enough. Two, nobody's forcing us to go to school for something that does not pay well. It is a GED and you can work a trade job or X, Y, or Z, or whatever, right? That's their biggest arguments. And I can understand where they're coming from, right? I always try to see both sides of it. That makes a lot of sense if I put myself in their mindset, right? I'm not being facetious at all. I'm being so serious. If, one, we aren't working hard enough, right? What is your alternative? And I want to see the plan laid out for the rest of my life, right? Give me the alternative plan that I can do for the rest of my life. Two, nobody's forcing us to go to schools for all this stuff. The more educated you are, the better, regardless of how it turns out, right? So even if you are 200K in debt, you are still better off being educated than not. You get paid more the more educated that you are. Knowing that, to prevent something like the mass engineering or mass computer science majors from taking over like the world in terms of like whatever you want to get into, how would you do that alternatively, right? Number three, just get GED and do some trade work, right? I'm all for that, and I believe that that is a good job. I was actually thinking about being a mechanic, right? But just like the last question, can you lay out a plan for me that gives everybody the equal chance of getting paid and not oversaturating the market? Especially in small areas. If you can answer those three questions, I will hear you out and we'll have a conversation about it. I want you to break it down for me if it's that easy. Secondly, I understand why they think like that, because they were raised to not ask questions and to follow orders, or you get hit, you get spanked, or whatever. So that's how they were raised for the majority of their lives. So like when you're questioning the system and calling out its flaws, it's obviously gonna set out their alarms because they weren't allowed to do that when they were a kid, right? Even if they were, it's not something that was happening on a majority scale, so it's gonna freak them out. Gen Z, on the other hand, and I'll say a little bit millennials too, especially like with everything that's going on, all the acceptance that's happening, is we are being promoted and pushed to think outside the box, to be creative, and to not just go with the grain of things of how they're done. So with us being pushed or being taught to be promoted to be creative and to think outside the box and to see the world for what it really is and try to create our own versions of it and not just accept what is thrown at us, we are obviously going to be more of the, whoa, this is kind of fucked up. Whoa, this is a little bit crazy. Why is this happening? Even if we're not necessarily doing anything about it, we are aware of it. And with that comes a certain level of, I'll say, arrogance or ignorance that is looked down upon from the older generations, because they didn't even have the chance to be that arrogant or ignorant, because they didn't even have the chance to question what was happening. If they questioned it, they get in trouble. Anyways, this is gonna be a longer video, but I am interested to see where y'all at with that, because I'm not necessarily saying that people that think that way are stupid, like the older generation. I'm not saying they're stupid, because I get where they're coming from their perspective, and I also know that that is an unrealistic expectation. Just let me know. I'm here for it. I'm here to talk about it.
I know we keep talking about how expensive groceries are, which they are. I know we keep talking about like how much restaurants are, and the drinks and the hookah and the nightlife, which they are. But why are we not talking about these fast food restaurants going up too? Let's talk about it. So I'm leaving the gym. I normally don't take like my wallet and shit to the gym, which I'm going to start doing. But anyway, so I don't have like my cards and stuff with me. So I'm like, damn, I'm a little hungry and I got to go get my son from the bus and stuff. So I'm like, let me see how much money I got in my armrest. Open my armrest, boom, couple of dollars, right? No. These couple of dollars would have been okay a couple of years ago. Probably could have got me a whole meal with $5. $5 in 2024 ain't shit. That literally will probably only pay for my motherfucking condiments.
What are we supposed to do? Gas prices crazy. Groceries crazy. Dog, the cost of living is so high right now, like this shit is not even funny anymore. The crazy part is, like, older generations will call us lazy and say, oh, we don't want to work hard, where during their time they can get a whole house for $30,000 and a case of beer. No one wants to talk about how hard it is for millennials right now, how hard it is for us to buy a house, how hard it is for us to survive. Many people that I know are literally working 2 jobs, or, you know, maybe they have a significant other and there's more than one income in the house, right? Like, it's ridiculous right now, bro. And you know why it's ridiculous right now? Do you know why? All that money printing that the government did.
we're suffering from it.
Old boomers like me remember when inflation was at 13% back in the 70s. Right now it's at 3.2%, which is the lowest of all the G7 countries. And yet, Fox News is trying to convince you that Biden is to blame for all these high prices. Trickle down has absolutely been proven to be a big fat lie. The economy simply does not work that way. And the truth is that more of your tax dollars subsidize corporations and big business than go to all the welfare programs of actual people in need. And how do these companies thank you? By jacking up the prices. Exxon and Big Oil, 60% profit margin. Chase Bank, $38 billion. Procter & Gamble, $14 billion. Home Depot, $17 billion. McDonald's, $6 billion. Verizon, $21 billion in profit. And you blame Biden for the high prices? That's exactly what these companies want. It's not their fault. It's the government's fault.
A little off topic, but I've been seeing a lot of millennials keying in the comments talking about, oh, Gen Z is aging rapidly and millennials look younger. It's because Gen Z works harder. Baby girl, did you forget that Gen Z spent 3 of their years in their prime in the house because of COVID back up? That work from home pandemic, that epidemic, millennials didn't start that. That started happening in Gen Z generation. So think about it. Millennials didn't have Uber. They had to catch the bus. They had to walk. Millennials didn't have a pandemic where they was forced to sit in the house for years, which will aid you if you're not getting out, getting sun, interacting with people, working out. Like, everybody got fat during COVID. Then you're getting more fat because you're at home and you're eating and you're sitting at your desk. You got a sedentary lifestyle where you're not active like a millennial would be going to their job. Like, work from home didn't even exist before 2019. So now I said all that. And by the way, don't you even think the girls, the Gen Z girlies that's working from home just work from home and that's it? No, they're a content creator on the side. They sell something on the side. They have a business, because Gen Z don't got it good like millennials where we can just work one job and get that nice $100,000 house with the white picket fence with the 401k retirement plan. These jobs ain't paying shit out here. And I know, because I went to school, I have a degree, and they was trying to pay me $60,000. If my rent is $2,500, you can do the math. I will be living check to check. So that comes with great stress and responsibility on behalf of the Gen Zs. So as a OG Gen Z, because I was born in 97, please, let's not do too much about Gen Zs looking older than they look, because they are literally the founding fathers of this economy and the generations moving forward.
So I'm a Gen Z as well. I was born in 1998. And I can tell you that as we start, now it is a lot harder than a lot of you guys started. The cost of everything is high. We are not able to afford to buy a lot of things that we want and need. So we have to work 2 jobs at least to be able to earn enough to live. A lot of us are staying with roommates or our parents and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We don't have our own place. It's expensive out here. As we work more and as we work harder, we age faster. We look older, except for me though. I look about 19 years old, but I'm actually 26, which is actually kind of crazy.
No, for real. And when it comes to old people, it blows my mind because it's like they lived through it. All of these increments of inflation, they lived through it. Like, when they were younger, they could go to a movie for a fucking nickel. Okay? And then skip ahead. Like, inflation happened a little bit, and then they could buy a house for 30, 40K. And I'm sure they complained about that back when. But now they know that that same house is worth like 600K because they have no problem gaining the benefits off of selling it and making all of that money because of that investment years ago. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's all just derived from, they're just bitter at younger generations now because we're actually, they see that we live our adolescence true to ourselves, like, and they were too worried about religion and outdated concepts and societal norms and everything, and I think that that's what they're actually pissed about. So it's like they won't even admit the fact that we have anything hard, because they see our life as so privileged because we get to just be ourselves or whatever, but it's like, that's not our fault. And regardless, like, people should not have to, like, slave away to live, and even when we do, we still can't live.
The people complaining about inflation right now are the people that said it didn't exist. Funny as hell. Now you care about prices? Be so for real. The inflation was caused by Joe Biden. Everybody knows it. It's going to take time to get prices down. In the meantime, Trump is doing everything else he promised. With new energy policies, I'm sure the prices will go down. Give it a few months. But now, it's so funny. Now Democrats are all up in arms about prices. Now they care. The double standard is almost too obvious. Like, nobody takes you seriously anymore. Your credibility is gone. It's very funny.
So the problem isn't millennials not being willing to do things to survive. It's the fact that we are tired, that we live in a world where we have to make major lifestyle and financial sacrifices just to have the bare minimum. I am born and raised in Southern California. I want to be close to my parents. They're in their 60s now. The creative field that I'm trying to break into, guess where it has a market? Here in Los Angeles, there are no fucking animation studios or art opportunities for people in fucking Idaho. There are gonna be people who don't make a lot of money no matter what, anywhere, in any city, and they deserve to live just as much as anyone else.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.